The dark side of credit cards nobody talks about. The credit card system was created to stop you from becoming rich. But how? Look, you wanted to fulfill your American dream. Home, car, materialistic things. The bank gave you the credit card so you could taste that dream. Feel like you own everything, while the truth is you never own anything. Instead, as you are trapped in debt, the bank owns you. In fact, that is how Americans racked up 1.2 trillion in debt, while Visa and Mastercard quietly turned everyday shopping into one of the most profitable industries on earth. This video shows you exactly how the system was built to trap you in debt and the strategies you can use to avoid paying a lifetime of interest. So instead of losing decades and tens of thousands of dollars to swipe fees and minimum payments, you will finally learn how to use credit card without letting them use you. You think your rewards credit card saves you money, but here is what the credit card companies don't want you to know. You are actually paying for someone else's rewards. Let us rewind back to know how they convinced everyone over time to get trapped in this cycle. The birth of money-making system credit card started in 1949. A businessman, Frank McNamara, created the Diners Club card. Using this, people could eat at a restaurant and pay later. It was not a real credit card because you had to pay full amount each month. Within 1 year, 10,000 people had signed up for this. And by 1959, over 1 million people used it. But the real game changer came in 1958. Getting inspired by Diners Club cards, Bank of America launched the Bank America. This was the first real credit card. They promoted it by mailing 60,000 live cards to random homes in Fresno, California. Definitely it was a chaos and a pushing sale. There was no way to check if people could pay or not. The result? The bank had to face back-to-back fraud cases. Nearly 25% of users never paid back their debt. Naturally, the guy who pitched the idea of this push mail got fired, but the idea stuck. But by 1968, over 1 million cards were being used. Household debt climbed into hundreds of millions. In 1966, Bank of America let other banks use their systems. By the 1970s, Bank America became Visa. Competitors like Mastercard and American Express also joined the game. But now they had a twist. None of these cards were free. Stores had to pay a fee on every purchase. About 2% to 3% of every sale of any storefront went to the card companies. So the stores raised their prices to make up for these costs. This means ultimately the consumer like you and me had to bear that extra cost, but indirectly. Whether you pay with cash or card, you are simply paying extra. You see that loophole? That is draining you. But the banks never wanted you to see this. So, to hide these fees, banks created rewards programs for you. They offered frequent flyer miles, cashback, and points. They called it free money, but it was not free. Your rewards come from the same fees that made everything more expensive. In simple terms, you are paying for your own rewards, and everyone else too. But it is a marketing trick, as studies show people spend more when they think they will earn points. By the 1980s, more banks offered cards. Magnetic strips became standard and the US household debt began to skyrocket. How banks removed all limits. But in the early days, profits were small. State law kept interest rates at 4 to 5%. That is far below today's 16% average. This changed in late 70s and 80s. South Dakota removed its limits on interest rates. Their economy was struggling and they wanted to attract banks. The Supreme Court's market decision let banks use South Dakota's higher rates everywhere. Other state limits become useless. Banks rushed to move their operations to South Dakota. With no limits on interest rates, banks began offering cards to everyone. Students, young adults, even unemployed people got credit cards. Risky borrowers just got hit with crushing rates. Another court ruling called the Smiley decision removed limits on late fees and penalties too. Suddenly, rates could jump to 36% overnight. Naturally, most people couldn't afford this. Even customers who never missed payment saw their rates spike, and they had no way to fight back because they were already entrapped. By the 2000s, Citibank was among the most profitable companies in America. Banks had perfected their system. The worst customers were those who paid off their balance every month. The best customers were the people stuck in endless debt, paying interest forever. To keep growing, banks targeted college students. Young people were broke and unlucky to read contracts. They were more likely to miss payments and rack up late fees. So the trap worked. Just look around. Half of Americans now carry balances, often for years. By the early 2000s, cards use double, even among low-income families. In 2020 alone, credit card companies made $176 billion. Today, the average American has 3 credit cards with over $5,500 in debt. Nationwide credit card debt has crossed $1.2 trillion. But still, what kept people hooked? Rewards. In Europe, regulators capped fee at less than 0.5%. Rewards dried up, but so did much of the debt. In the US, lobbying kept fee high, rewards flowing and debt rising. Americans get bigger rewards than Europeans, but they also carry far more debt. Let us understand that with the simple calculation, the math that keeps you poor. Today's average credit card interest rate is 21.16 per year. Divide that by 12 months. You get 1.6% per month. Now imagine you owe $5,000 on your card. So your 1 month of interest equals $88.17. In just 30 days, the bank adds $88.17 to your balance. Compare that to your savings account. The national average saving rate is 0.39% per year. That is 0.03% per month. If you have $5,000 in savings, you earn $1.63 in a month. So did you see the gap? Your debt costs you $88 a month. Your saving earns you $1.63. If you put it in a ratio, it becomes 54:1, which means if you earn 1, you lose 54. That is a huge loss for you. Even the best high-yield saving account at 4% gives you only about $16 a month. Still, now here close to that $88. Now let's see what happens when you only pay the minimum. Most cards ask for about 2% of your balance or $25, whichever is higher. First month on $5,000, balance is $5,000. Interest is $88.17. So the new balance is $5,088.17. Minimum payment is 2% of that, which is $101.76. And now, here is the problem. Out of that $101.76, only $13.6 actually reduces your balance. The rest, the $88, goes straight to interest. Now, if you look at month 2, you still owe about $4,986. And that is why at month 3, you owe $4,972. See, it is barely reduces, and this way, you will be stuck for 631 months, which is 52 years. After 52 years, you will pay a total of $26,107 in interest. Can you imagine? So after all this, do you think you can ever become rich? But wait, we have not discussed the rewards yet. That is another blow to your American dream. Who really pays for your rewards? You think your rewards card is great? You use it for everything? You pay off your balance every month. You watch your rewards grow. When it is time to cash it, you get excited about your free gift. But who actually paid for this? If you love your rewards card, you probably won't like the answer. When you buy for $100 in groceries and swipe your card, that $100 does not go straight to the store. Store owners are charged fee. The largest is called the swipe fee. It is set by Visa or Mastercard. Your bank uses it to pay for your rewards. The swipe fee is usually between 1.5% and 3.5% of your total. The more premium your card, the more the store is charged. For small businesses, swipe fee can be one of their biggest expenses. Small stores get charged higher rates than big box competitors. To cope, store owners raise their prices. As a result, all of us pay more, but only those with special cards get rewards. The wealthiest Americans tend to have a best card that give the most reward. Poorer Americans are more likely to pay in cash or with debit cards. No perks, no points. Simply put, if you are poor and middle class, you will pay a higher price. no reward. If you are upper, middle class, or rich, you will pay a higher price, but that will be balanced out with the rewards you get. Who is the loser? Poor and middle class. How? Because we really have a system that forces everyone to pay higher prices to subsidize rewards that mostly go to the wealthy. In 2020, the Federal Reserve found that the average American at every income level loses more to swag fee price hikes than they gain in rewards. The poorest American get the worst deal. On average, they pay 5 times more in markups than they will ever get back in points. Two companies control everything. But why are we stuck in this system that makes the rich richer and the poor poorer? The answer comes down to two companies, Visa and Mastercard. They control over 80% of the credit card market. With so little competition, they face almost no pressure to lower swipe fees. 87% of all US credit card transactions go through either Visa or Mastercard. This has given these two companies power that competitor lawsuits and even the government have been unable to stop for decades. Credit cards don't just move money around, they create it. Every time you swipe, bank generates new credit that did not exist before. Your debt is their asset. If all credit cards' debt disappeared tomorrow, that money would vanish too. I think now you see the system is designed to keep you poor. Credit cards disconnect buying from the pain of paying. They make spending feel painless. Instead, they inflate price, lure you with rewards, and lock you into cycles of debt, all while quietly enriching the banks. How to fight back? But knowing all these won't cut it. You have to follow the ways to escape the system. Pay more than the minimum. Even small extra payment cut years of debt and thousands in interest. Transfer balances to a 0% introductory card or use a low-rate personal loan. A 0% transfer for 12 to 18 months lets you pay the actual debt without interest. Because the simple strategy is you need to stay away from interest completely. Build a small emergency fund, even $1,000. Stop treating rewards as free money. Rewards don't outweigh interest on balances. Federal data shows they favor card companies. Overall, if you must use credit cards, follow two simple rules. Don't buy what you can't afford and pay off your balance every month. Follow these two rules and you will never pay interest or late fees. That is a guarantee. When shopping at small businesses, remember that how you pay matters. Using your debit card can save them money in swipe fee. More and more small businesses offer discounts for cash. Avoiding this system can be win for both of you. The truth is simple for most Americans. The best deal won't come from a shiny new piece of plastic. It might come from new laws that fix this broken system. Remember this, the next time you swipe for rewards, because since you know the truth now, the choice is yours. But you know what? This is just one part I covered. I hope you learned a lot, but there is more than meets the eye. And for that, in that next video, I will discuss something more important that nobody talks about, the underground credit card system. But from today's video, what you learn will help you a lot to improve your personal finance. If you stay vigilant, for more insights, subscribe to this channel and follow my work.